Blind Nil Audio.
I'm Alex L.
I'm Libby Delana. Welcome
to This Morning Walk podcast.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, Libby. How you doing?
Good. Number one, I cleaned out my refrigerator.
Proud of you. Huge feat.
Huge feat. And now every time I do it, I have a soft spot for thinking about you. And for some reason, I'm thinking about salads right now, chopped salads. I really want a chopped salad, but I can't find the right ingredients. You made a salad when you were here, cucumber, dill, feta. Was there one other? There was one other ingredient.
Cucumber,
Cilantro?
dill, feta, cilantro, salt and pepper,
cilantro,
lime. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to go make for lunch. How are you?
I am okay. How are you?
I am a little tired. I just got back from a road trip, which was beautiful and fabulous.
Yeah, you've been out and about. Where have you been?
Well, let's see. I went to Telluride to start, where I was supporting a dear friend, Maggie and Jeremy's film, which won Best Film, which was exciting. And then I drove back to LA, flew home from LA. So stopped at Zion and, this morning walked all over the West, basically.
That's nice. I saw some of your photos. It looked cool.
Yeah, it was very, it's really fun to be on the road. It's, for me anyway, I mean, it's fun to walk in new places, learn a lot of new stuff, walking in new places. And one thing I was thinking about our conversation and what we would talk about, and I was just thinking about this idea of the sort of concept of walking ourselves into self-worth. And does that resonate? What do you think of when I say that? How does that sit with you? Is that?
I mean, it makes sense. I think a lot of us are trying to take the steps to find our worth, right, in this life and to hold on to it. And I think walking can remind us, that we are worthy of being exactly where we are in the good things, right? I think for me, when it comes to self-worth, I often can sometimes like second guess if certain things are for me, right? Or if I really am worthy of the good things, or am I really worthy of healthy relationships, and so on and so forth. And so it's like really talking myself through, that process of being very human and sometimes doubtful and sometimes unsure, and just trying to find my way back home to the truth of, yes, I am worthy of this thing, this experience, this goodness, this love, this ease. It's a constant like reminder,
Oh, it's so beautiful. You always have such a beautiful way of articulating that. I think for me, this concept of self-worth was it's grounded in this notion of sort of acceptance, and acceptance of what is and what is here right now. And I think I found this when I was sort of out walking around the West. I sort of thought, just accepting the realities of what are. There were definitely some mornings where I felt discombobulated and uncertain of where I was, and yeah, I mean, what you said is so true. Am I worthy of accepting where I am right now? What is true for me? And it for me, it's a constant, ongoing, step by step inquiry. I don't know why. I don't know why it's hard. It's hard.
So for me, it's also looking at if something negative happens or bad happens or disorienting happens, like not thinking, oh, you deserved that. Kind of switching the self-worth talk. Like, oh, of course that happened to you because you deserve that. You're not really who you say you are. You know, like all those, like that negative self talk
Gosh.
can come up.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast um, called Just Us. It's my friend Tashira and her best friend Margot's podcast. And they were talking about ANTS, which stands for A stands for something, and NT stands for negative thoughts. I have to look it up, but essentially it's like addressing your negative thoughts and stomping them out when they happen, and also reminding, like exterminating those thoughts. And how can we do that in a way that is realistic, supportive, and also redirects us back to the truth of the moment, which is we are worthy because we are alive. And like that just being kind of the that being the truth. We are worthy because we are alive. We are worthy of good things because we are alive. And if bad things
Mhm.
happen to us and negative things happen to us, it's not necessarily because we deserved it. You know,
Mm,
like, you know how some
mm,
people are always
mhm,
quick to say, you are who you attract, or you are what you attract, or you're attracting that negative person in your life because they're being a mirror to the negative side of you. And I don't
mm.
believe that. I do believe that the company we keep can make or break us in certain ways. But I don't think that if we are friends with someone or in a relationship with someone who is abusive or harmful or mean, that we deserve that,
Right.
because like there must be something in our life that we're like setting ourselves up for that. I don't believe that. So anyways, I just went on a tangent, but that's kind of where my mind goes when I think about self worth. It's like not punishing myself with negative self talk, stomping out those ants, and also being with the truth that I am worthy because I am alive, and good things and ease and love is supposed to greet me because I am alive. I am a human and I am
Right.
worthy because of that.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I think I've heard of that sort of concept of ants. I don't remember what the A is myself, but the notion that when we respond to something, that when we respond with a negative reception of whatever it is, or we do take it personally, which I is something I think I really need. Uh, struggle with. I think that is a place where I spend quite a bit of time, and I don't. It's not helpful. And to your point, if we have the ability to say to those ants, um, you know what, I see you, but I'd like you to leave this ecosystem right now. We're going to stomp you out you go, because equally as essential are these positive and good components. I think, I don't know, I think our lives are much sweeter, to spend too much time in that place where the ants are swarming around you or we take things personally is not I don't know, it's not a joyous place to live our lives. And yeah, it's a constant practice for me. It's a constant work in progress. And it's part of the challenge of being alive and joyous, I think.
Mhm. Mhm. I looked
I don't know.
up what the A stands for. It stands for automatic.
Automatic
Automatic negative
negative
thoughts.
thoughts.
Mhm. So it's that place your mind goes when we drop the ball, or when maybe someone says something good about us and we automatically go to, "Oh, that's really not, like they don't mean that." It's
Right,
these
right.
automatic kind of reflexes that we can't help, but the beauty is that we can unlearn going there first.
Where do they come from? Where did we learn
Oh
where
my
do those
gosh,
ants come
everywhere.
from? Every
Society, upbringing, just everywhere. I think that's just it's a part of our human experience, and it's not always great, you know? It's not
Not
always
always
great.
great. And I think, I think the concept of the practice of unlearning them is, I don't know, for me it's a lifelong practice. They're
Yeah.
automatic. They show up. And I guess for me, going for a walk is a place where, back to walking ourselves into self-worth, walking is a place where actually I can stomp them out for some reason.
Mhm.
It's easier to put my foot down on those negative thoughts and move them on their way. Um, you and I have talked about this, which is for me the activity of moving those emotions through my body is really helpful. Otherwise, they kind of pool and sit someplace. They sit, they get stuck. I hold on to them for too long. So I don't know. For me, I can stomp them out as I walk.
Did something specific happen over your trip or time away that brought up self-worth stuff? Like, where did this necessarily, like, come from?
Oh, I think I don't think there's anything specific. I think maybe it's the other side of the coin of gratitude, which is I woke up many mornings. One morning I woke up in Monument Valley, which is this exquisite uh, area of the West, Navajo Nation,
Mhm.
and watched the sun come up. And it brings me to tears thinking about it. It was so beautiful. And I remember thinking, how is it that I am so fortunate and so lucky to see this morning? And
Mm.
then perhaps the other side of the coin were these negative thoughts of how is it that you deserve to see this and be in this place at this moment to see the sunrise. So it wasn't really just the other side of the coin of gratitude. I just was, I don't know, really overwhelmed with the opportunity that was in front of me. It
Mm.
just
Mhm.
felt like really special time.
Mm. That's real. I hear that.
Yeah, and I don't know that I don't know how else to articulate it other than it felt like part of the sort of gathering of emotion of gratitude. Just
Mm.
felt beautiful to be there.
Mhm.
And then I couldn't help but wonder, how did I get so lucky to participate in that morning seeing the sunrise?
Mm. Yeah, I hear that. Good reflection.
It is a good reflection. And I feel like it's one of those things that's almost impossible to untangle in my head. Um, yeah, where's the line drawn? Yeah. Well, what else is going on with you? How's your book?
How is my book? I am struggling writing, but I am going to take some travels and hopefully that will be supportive of the process.
It's a hard process.
And I just also am, I mean, I'm going to do it because it's my job and I have to do it, but I have been in such a easeful
Mm,
last 2 years. How We Heal came out in 2022. Last year I didn't do much. And this year I have to get back to work. And so for the past year and a half, I have been really just steady,
I love
easeful,
that.
light,
Mm,
unbothered, unworried, just write when I want to write, be how I want to be. And now I have to like get to the structure of writing a book. And I to be honest, I just don't want to.
yeah, I hear
I'm
that.
going to, but I don't feel excited. I don't feel um like ready. I don't have any drive. I was telling Ryan, I feel so unmotivated. I just don't want to do anything. Um because I have been by choice not doing anything for a year and a half and it has felt so good for my
Mm,
mind, body and soul. And so getting just stepping out of that ease and stepping into like a more structured place
with
has proven
deliverables and
with
timelines.
deliverables and I have a timeline and I'm just like, ugh, this
Ugh,
is this isn't I don't love living my life this way. But you know, must be done.
must be done. I can't believe Howie Hill came out 2 years ago. It feels like it was just yesterday. Isn't that?
hmm
And
And
how
I
long did?
also, Libby, I don't know
Yeah.
if have any, this is probably not going to sound great, but whatever. I'm going to say it. Having How We Heal be as successful as it was in the world and land on the list,
Yes.
I was just like,
We're good.
I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah.
I don't
I did
need to
it.
do another thing. And Ryan was like, I knew this was gonna happen. I knew that you were gonna get on that list and be like, fuck them
Okay.
books.
Yeah,
Pardon my
right.
French.
Did it. Goal
Did it,
accomplished.
done,
Done.
moving on.
Moving on to something
Um,
else.
but for real, like that's just the energy right now. But of course, I'm gonna write this book and it's gonna be a great book. It's a necessary book. Me and Ryan
It
started
is.
brainstorming last week. He's helping me, just put my thoughts together. So it'll be fine. But when I tell you, like, I've done what I wanted to do in my career. And
I
now I'm
know.
like, what else can I do? So we're investing in like little, not little, but I'm a big believer in small businesses. So we are in talks with a small coffee company that's in our area. We go to the farmers market to see them every weekend. We're talking about investing with them because they're looking to open a brick and mortar. We're talking about investing in this pastry company in New York. Like, I have all this money. I want to put it somewhere good. And I don't necessarily want,
Yeah.
I just want to give my money away and be like,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
do your thing, build. I would love, a return on my investment down the line. But like right now, I just feel so grateful to really not have to work if I don't want to. I think that that's another thing too, is like, you don't have to do this,
Yeah. Right.
but I'm going to. But, you know, and I think too, after this book, I want to start really writing, like making books that are geared toward the practice of writing. So, really diving
Mm.
deeper into more journal books, daily devotional style books that can help people get closer to themselves in more accessible ways than just sitting down and reading a full book or sitting down and listening to a full book. I also want to play with fiction. Like, what is that like? I've read 15 books in 6 months on Audible. That counts in my mind.
Of
But
course.
fiction and just loving having these little movies in my mind that comes from a story that someone is telling. So we have options. We have options.
Well, number one, I love that you're in this season of like, you know what? I did what I wanted to do. I did what I wanted to do. And
And like
I will.
and I'm okay with that.
Yes,
I don't have like
absolutely.
these big ambitions. So many people
Yes,
are like, "What do you want to do next? What do you want to do next?" I'm like, I'm focusing on what I'm doing right now,
right now.
which is not sugar honey iced tea.
I love that you're angel. You're invest. I love that you're supporting small businesses. I love
I
that. And then
can't
we've got
wait.
to do our tea shop.
Oh, and then we want to open a tea shop.
We want to
All
open
we
a
want
tea
to
shop
do is like
together.
little tiny books and tea.
Projects.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I
That's
have the
it.
URL for us, you know.
I know you do. I'm I'm ready. We just need to go to Japan, go to Africa, source the best, green tea and the how do you say it? The Rooibos. I can never say it. The Roobios tea.
Roibus.
Listen, Robus.
Is it?
However, it's in South
Listen.
Africa and it's so good.
All
Like,
right.
let's go.
Yeah. Somebody write us and tell us who we should meet. And then we're going to Nepal to find the best chai.
Uh,
Should
Cardamom,
we? Yeah. Cardamom and
star
pepper.
anise,
Yeah.
pepper,
Pepper.
ugh,
Yes.
black tea. Listen,
Black.
this is
Li-
just
Listen.
it's all I want to do. It's all I want to do.
We even have a name. We have two names.
We do. We can't tell you though.
No, we can't tell you, but we're all ready to go. But I don't know, that might be too much work. The other day I was like, we should kick that off. And I, like you, was like, building
That's why,
businesses.
Libby. That's why we have to find a manufacturer and a drop shipper. Because
Okay.
all we want to do is the branding, really, and the sourcing.
Right. And the
We don't want
mix.
to do the making. Like we can. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Back to your book. The world needs this book.
It's gonna be
Your
good.
next book. Oh
It's
my
gonna be good.
gosh, we need it. I mean, you've
It's gonna
already
be good,
talked
and then
about.
don't expect another long form self improvement book from me until I'm 40. So about 5 years. I already told my agent I'm not doing this again. I'm 35. I'll be 35 next month. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna keep. I have to live. I write nonfiction. I have
right.
to live my life and raise
Y-
these kids and deepen my marriage. Like more lessons. Meet
More
new.
lessons, more learning. Yeah, then
There's
writing.
there's only so much that a 34, 35-year-old gal like me can know, you know? We need age and wisdom.
Yes, yes, you need these gray hairs. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Also, my hair is so gray
I
and
see
I love
it.
it.
I love
It's
it.
it's very, very, very gray, and I wonder when it's gonna fully I'll probably be fully gray by 40. I'm here for it.
Yes,
I love
I
it.
am here. I feel like that changed in the last few months.
It has. Every year it gets more and more gray, and they're not just gray, they're white hair.
Beautiful.
My mom is
Fantastic.
fully salt and my mom is salt and pepper, and I don't know my biological father, but um my mom said that him and his people grade very early. So,
Yeah, love it. So maybe we should change the name of our tea house to Two Gray Ladies.
oh, that's actually really cute.
Hmm. I
Oh,
mean, maybe we have a little line of teas, of old-fashioned teas
yay! See,
and teacups. See, this is what we do. We sit around and we start building ideas for companies. Yeah.
companies that we don't want to run, right?
That-
Just
right? Oh my gosh, what else is going on?
what else? Nothing really. Kids are good. Everyone's good. Life is fine. I've been sick for 12 days. I'm
I
still
was going to
congested, you
say,
can probably hear,
I feel
and
like you've been sick for a month.
it's awful.
Awful.
I'm pretty sure I had COVID,
Mm,
which is, gross. But that or RSV.
yeah,
RSV, the kids bring home RSV like freaking
all the time.
Pop Tarts. Like Jesus. Um so I've been like we were all sick and then I was like I'm not sick, I'm fine. And then I was the last one to get whatever came around and I it's still lingering cuz we were supposed to record on what?
Was it last week or maybe?
Last
Yeah.
week
And you
and
felt terrible. You had a
I was
fever.
awful. It was
Yeah.
it
You
was
felt terrible.
it was terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I'm still kind of congested. My voice is just now coming back. It's still kind of raspy, but
You should do some
I'm
voiceovers
alive.
right now because you sound like a superhero.
Hello.
Well, life for me is a little bit of writing too about this cold
Yeah.
plunge thing.
How's that going?
Well, it fine. I just keep writing. I don't know if it's any good, but I just keep writing.
I
I don't know.
love
Why did
that.
I just say that? Why did I say that? Why did I
Your
say that?
automatic negative
Look at
thought.
that. See? I'm 62 fucking years old. Why do I say that? Ah.
Your ants come marching in quite a bit.
Oh. It's just it's so it's so tiring. You know what? I don't mind ants, but I don't want those ants. No more. Let's replay that. Lib, we're unlearning. I'm writing this cold plunge book and it's really fun to think about some of the old stories and bring
Yeah.
those to the forefront and share the lessons along the way. Look at
Beautiful.
that. Goodbye, ants. Goodbye. Oh,
Oh
for God,
gosh.
it's so exhausting. Those darn ants. Yeah, it
We do
takes.
it so much, we don't even realize it, but see, that's the thing, you just realized it and decided to correct. So
Yeah,
that's the, like, reprocessing.
yeah, that's
Realize, correct. Realize, redirect.
redirect. Yeah, it's like, okay, so I'm gonna walk that back. I'm gonna try that sentence again with
Yep.
love and affection and self worth. I'm gonna
And it's okay to
walk
be
my.
excited about the shit you're doing.
Yeah, because I am excited. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's funny when I think about that. Like, why would I say that out loud? Why would I say that? Because honestly, in some ways, I don't even believe it. I don't think it's bad.
Mhm.
I think what I'm writing is worthy. I think what I'm
I think you like
talking
to
about,
stay in your humble bag,
yes,
but that's not humility. It's self-deprecation.
that's right. It's not, it's right.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
that's
do the same thing. Like, "Oh, it's not that big a deal." Like, "Girl, that's a huge deal."
it's a
Like,
huge deal.
mhm.
And why does it feel uncomfortable? I'm actually going to think about this on my walk this afternoon. Why does it feel uncomfortable to own that place of, why is it hard to accept that it actually is probably a, they're reasonable stories to tell. They're important. It will be interesting. Why is that? It's just so fascinating. Where did I learn
Because
that?
we're taught as women to play small, to shrink, to not be too much, to not be too proud of ourselves, to not be too, you know, to not be too
Too,
TOO. And
right?
it's just like, no.
Yeah.
Be a lot. Take up space. As my friends tell me, take up space, sis. Show up, sis. Like, because
Yeah,
at the end
that's
of the day, if we don't believe it, how can we expect other people to believe it? If we don't think it's good,
right.
how do we expect other people to believe in the mission, believe in the book, believe in the thing? So,
Well,
mm,
what's coming up for me right now is I think back, I'm 6 feet tall. I was over 6 feet tall. I was gray hair by the time I was 30. I remember walking into rooms and feeling that just my presence was TOO. It's too much.
mm, mhm.
It was unusual. It was too whatever. And I do remember that feeling of just sort of like tucking back, sliding back, tucking down, lowering my eyes so it didn't feel too much. Yeah, and I think
And
that's
then
right. Yeah.
I think we also need to look at what we were told by caretakers growing up. And
Mm,
I think we also need to look at what we were told by exes and
right.
old friends and
Yes.
stuff like that. Because then we take on people's projections as our truth and it's a lie. So, you know,
Oh my
like
gosh,
I
that's
know my
so
writing
true.
is good. So that's something that I have to start like saying out loud. So me saying, "Oh, this book is going to be good," the world needs this book. It's because for so long I was like, "Oh, my writing really isn't. Are people really
Right.
going to like it? The world doesn't need this. Everybody else is saying stuff like this." It's like, no, that this is no one is saying it like me. No one is doing it like me, and I think that's just something we have to just reprogram in our minds as women, especially to just show up big, show up with all of ourselves, show up with, like you can be humble, sure, but you don't have to shrink yourself in the name of humility.
Right. Humbleness doesn't necessarily mean discounting your capacity or capability,
And you're
right?
allowed to be proud of yourself. You're allowed
You're
to
allowed
think
to
your
be
work
proud.
is good. You're
Right.
allowed, right?
Well, the place where it's sort of popping up for me right now is, I don't even say the word modeling out loud. So I've been doing that for the last couple of years, and I find that I totally diminish that work that I'm doing, and I
Mm,
actually think it's important. And it's interesting. Just recently, I had a friend say, "You know what? If you're going to do it, lean in and be proud of it. Own it and do it." And she was 100% right. And
mm.
but it's interesting these sort of these narratives that, and as you point out, what exes have said or family members, how they've described us, and we hold on to that, and you know, you think you're this or it. Yeah, time to let it all go. Time to walk it
And
off.
and and what's wrong with me thinking I'm good at something, right? Like
It's
something
fabulous.
that I as a little girl, I used to hear, so when I used to get my hair straightened, my mom would say, and this might be kind of universal Black mama for the most part. My mom would be like, "Don't think you too cute. Don't start swinging your hair around, or I'll wash it.
Right.
Don't start thinking you too cute. You too grown. You." And so many other Black women who grew up, getting their hair pressed, I have heard say that their mama has told them the same thing.
Mm.
So as little girls, we're taught, you better not think you're cute. You better not think, you're too good now. And it's so interesting as a mother raising little girls, specifically little Black girls, how it's completely opposite over here. Like, we are hyping the girls up. Now my girls don't get their hair straightened, but they get braids, they have locks, they get pretty styles. And me and Ryan both hype team. Okay, it's really ridiculous. And I don't think any of our children are going to feel like, "Oh, my parents wanted me to be small. They didn't want me to step into my glory, to my beauty, to my creativity, to my expression." And I mean, even with our middle Isla, who is ADHD big time, we're learning how to like navigate her and emotionally regulate that big feelings over everything, right? And not make her feel small for having those big feelings. So like, how do we do that that supports her mental health? Um and when she's having a moment and she's being really loud and she's singing and she's twirling and she's off the wall, how do we allow her space to be her free
Mhm.
self and also make sure she's not going to hurt herself by twirling and getting dizzy and hitting her head, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, or when she's having a meltdown and she's, having big feelings and big tears and screams and things like that, how do we make sure we're not minimizing but also keeping her safe and helping her regulate? And it all goes back to like what we didn't have at the end of the day. For me, how do we, practice support and softness with our kids and not making them feel like they're not supposed to be who they are?
Yeah, that's so
I could talk
beautiful.
about that all day, but yeah.
Yeah. It brings up a story. I was 6 feet tall, and it was 1970, and I remember my dad bringing home a pair of platform shoes that would have made me 6'3", and I felt like he was saying, "Be your big tall self. Be your big. Just here you go. Be bigger.
Mhm.
Be."
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a real vote of acknowledgement and affection and love and trust in who you are fully,
Mhm.
and you do that for
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
girls.
I mean, I'm sure you've done that for your sons in a way, right? Like making sure, I mean, I know it's different raising, boys and girls in some aspects, but I'm sure there have been moments where it's like, with maybe sports or even like with, your son who's a chef and like the things that he's walked through. And like, I'm just sure there's been moments where you've had to be their champion so that they can remember who they are, you know?
Yeah, I think what a gift to you know have that, to have people surrounding you, parents, friends, family, who in, totally inspire you to show up fully, completely.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's yeah,
And not shrink. And
and
not
not
shrink.
shrink. Yeah, walk ourselves into self worth. That's what. Yeah, take those ants. Ask them to leave.
Right.
All right. Well, I love you. I hope you have a great day. If you want to come up here to write, let me know. You know the
I mean,
you
I
know
would
the
love
back
to
door.
come up there and write, but you're never home. So you got to tell
Well,
me
you
when
can
you're
be here
home.
even if I'm not. You can have a little retreat. It's available. You know how
I
to
will.
get in.
That is
Yeah.
very true. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Love you
All right.
too.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. This Morning Walk is a production of Blind Nil Audio, hosted by me, Alex L.
And me, Libby Delana. produced and edited by Chris Jacobs.
If you find value and meaning in the conversations that Libby and I have, please share the show with a friend and consider leaving a 5-star review. Comments on Apple Podcasts really help us out. When you do that, it introduces this show to a bigger audience. Thank you so much for listening.
You are wonderful. Have a great walk.
The views, information, or opinions expressed in this series are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Chip and Joanna Gaines, Blind Nile Audio, nor Magnolia.